There's a lot of things I dislike about this movie, but it's not a bad movie. It's definitely better than the third Shrek movie. Fuck that one. Shrek basically just runs away from child support in that movie. I mean, I wasn't wrong. Shrek 3 is a very weird movie. I went into Shrek 3 thinking that this was probably going to be terrible, that it was going to be horrible. I was slightly wrong. It's not a terrible movie. It's just not good. It's just a mess. I know you guys have been waiting for a while. It's been a couple months, but let's jump back into this. The movie opens up on Prince Charming. After his defeat to Shrek in the second movie, he is now stuck inside this diner performing a play about the day he actually wins. No one cares. No one likes Prince Charming. He rides on this dumbass little horse. After that play ends, he goes outside where he has like a whole dressing room set up. He vows to get revenge. Back to Shrek. Shrek is getting used to being the king. In the absence of the king and queen who are out somewhere. Ugh, see you guys again. So that's why he does that. There's already a few things that I've mentioned in the previous review. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. There's a montage of everything Shrek needs to do. He dresses up fancy for a bit. He destroys a boat. Shrek murders a guy when he tries to knight him. Is that William Shakespeare? They're using a chainsaw on his foot. How big are your toenails? How dense do they have to be? Do they have to tie you down and then use a chainsaw to cut them? After Shrek and Fiona get dressed, they're getting ready to present themselves to the people of the land.
Hey, you! Come here! What's your name?
Fiddlesworth, sir.
Perfect. Got it. A little over to the left, yeah.
They have a royal butt scratcher? Why is that a thing? How lazy are you? I'm only like 5 minutes into this movie. The belt buckle of Shrek comes off his body and hits Donkey. Donkey then proceeds to go crazy and knocks into a woman, which leads to a bunch of other events where everything gets destroyed around them. And they all survive this. After this event, Shrek is conflicted on whether or not he would want to be king at all. He hates the idea of being king. Fiona has something more important to explain, and Shrek's not getting it.
Don't you ever think about having a family?
Right now, you're my family.
Oh boy, here we go. While they're in there, they get disturbing news that the king is passing away. By the way, the king's a frog. I don't remember how that happened. I'd have to rewatch the second movie. But the king's a frog, and he's dying now. He dies like 7 times. Which, like, imagine if a relative did that to you. He's just like, just kidding, I'm alive. No, I'm dead. They're at his funeral, and they made an entire statue of the king as a frog rather than the king as himself. Seems like a weird detail to make him a frog until the end, and instead of remembering him how he was. Although there's a bunch of singing frogs as well, so you gotta ask how often people get transformed into frogs in this universe. Also, this movie has a weird soundtrack. With the fourth movie, it sounded pretty good, but they learned their lesson from this movie, obviously. After the funeral, we cut to Charming, who is trying to round up a bunch of bad guys. Why is there a skull on one of the drinks? Who is ordering this drink? What will it be, fellas? Yeah, I'll have the one with the dead guy on it. They all don't trust Charming, but with a little speech that he gives, he rounds them all up. And now they're ready to take over Far, Far Away. They recasted Rumple for the next movie. And then they're just like, nah, we're not gonna have him in the next one. We're gonna...
Oh my god!
On the king's dying breath, he said that Shrek will be the new king of Far, Far Away. So Shrek doesn't want that, so they're on the search to find a new king. Look at one of the dragon baby's eyes! He looks like he doesn't belong. Can't you all talk? Puss can talk. There's another cat that talks. How many of you can and can't talk? What makes these guys talk? Why are you here? Just go away. They all also have mohawks. I just saw that too.
You're going to be a father!
You, my friend, are royally...
We all know what he said. Shrek knows too. He said fuck. They leave to go find the relative of Fiona. And Shrek has a really weird nightmare. Where do I even begin with this nightmare? Let's just start with this gross vomit scene that begins. It's not funny. It's just not funny. It's a tidal wave. Why? I just don't understand this scene. It's one of the reasons why this movie is so messed up. Fun story. I fell asleep the first time I saw this movie. But I saw this in theaters, so I slept through the whole movie in theaters. My parents were pissed. Shrek and the gang finally make it to the new land, where they hope to find Fiona's relatives. Oh god, there's so much about this place. Let's see where I begin on this one.
Then I was all like, I'd rather get the Black Plague and lock myself in an Iron Maiden than go out with you. Totally.
Pardon me.
Ugh, totally ooh. Yeah, totally.
I hate their modern lingo. I don't see any horses or anywhere for horses to go on this carriage to the left that looks like a van.
Hello, bro. Don't burn all my frankincense and myrrh.
Is that pot? Do they put pot in a kid's movie?
Who rolled a +9 dork spell and summoned the beast in his quadrupeds?
No, I just saw what happened to him. He got a nosebleed. Alright, movie, fine. You can take a laugh out of me. That was funny. They stumble upon a jouster and his target, who they mistake the jouster to be the relative, when in fact, the relative is the target. That target is named Arthur. Shrek finds Arthur and gives a speech in the gymnasium for all of his friends. Arthur turns his back on everybody and then they leave. The movie cuts to Fiona's baby shower. This entire baby shower is just odd. It's with Sleeping Beauty, Rapunzel, and Snow White. Snow White gives her a dwarf, and the dwarf's just like, yeah, whatever, scratch ass. The dragon spots all the evil guys in the distance. Prince Charming leads a whole army into far, far away to take over. They actually succeed. The princesses escape out the back, and Pinocchio and the three little pigs try to hold off everybody. Also, the princesses suck. They're not good characters.
I suggest you freaks cooperate with the new king of far, far away.
The only thing you're ever gonna be king of is king of the stupids.
That's a very nice insult, King of the Stupids. Whoa, 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 what? Why are we cutting through his life? There's a gingerbread school? Let me just break apart Gingerbread's little life real quick. Wait. Are there bones? How did I miss this? Look at the photo of their anatomy. Is that how they're living? They don't have a neck. How is this car running? So Gingerbread Man can make an entire car with a fully functioning engine, but the rest of Far, Far Away is stuck with horses? The Gingerbread people are on top of their game. Unless this whole thing's a dream, in which case, fuck you, movie. For even giving me hope that they were gonna have cars. He got married? Okay, I can't tell what is real and what isn't. Is he married? Is this all fake? Am I losing my mind? Oh, these are real. Okay, so now we're seeing real events. Does that mean everything that happened before actually happened? That was so weird. This movie is so strange. Pinocchio gives them away because he can't lie. And then we cut back to Shrek and Artie, who Shrek is determined to get Artie home. And Artie does not want to become king, so they fight over the wheel. The boat crashes and they all survive. I was completely right about Shrek running away from fatherhood. He brings it up in this scene.
We're heading back to Far, Far Away, one way or another. And you're gonna be a father.
Puss and Donkey tell Shrek that he needs to relate to the young Artie.
If you think this whole mad scene ain't dope, I feel you, dude. I mean, I'm not trying to get up in your grill or raise your roof or whatever. But what I am screaming is, yo, check out this kazing.
Is this how he thinks all teenagers speak? They're going to the woods where they run into this wizard. And this wizard is my least favorite character of the entire movie. He's just so annoying. They're asking the wizard for help because maybe they could take him back home. We learn that Artie's parents ran off on him, and Shrek and Artie have a nice heart-to-heart conversation about it. After that heart-to-heart, the movie cuts back to the princesses who are in a tunnel trying to escape the castle. The princesses make it to mainland, but unfortunately one of them was a traitor. Rapunzel and Prince Charming were in it all along. Woo. Princesses get captured and taken away. Shrek and the gang get ambushed by a bunch of tree people who aren't successful. The wizard prepares to get all of them home.
Expeditious as zoom zoom. Let's help our friends get back. Soon.
That spell sounded so fake. I am shocked that this worked. The wizard succeeds in getting them back to Far, Far Away, but unfortunately because Donkey and Puss were holding hands, they switched bodies. Far, Far Away has gone to shit because all the villains took over.
But Fiona the princess has got away, and now she's what? Puss, loan me $5.
Also, why doesn't Shrek just break Pinocchio out of the glass instead of having to pay $5? Why is he paying $5 to see him again when you can just break him out? They're letting about a play that Prince Charming is setting up in the castle for Shrek.
Maybe they should talk to Nancy in Human Resources?
There's human resources? What is human resources for a kingdom? Prince Charming murders like 3 extras practicing for Shrek. Shrek breaks into his dressing room along with his friends, and the guards come in and capture them. Shrek tells Artie the truth, and Artie gets sad, so that way Artie can actually leave the castle and not get killed. Shrek and his friends get captured instead. Donkey and Puss get thrown in a cell with the princesses, and they explain the entire situation to Fiona, which Fiona rallies the rest of everybody, and they break out of prison. How, you might ask? By her mom headbutting 2 walls, and apparently she can do this. A movie then cuts to the scene of the audience getting ready to watch Prince Charming's play. Captain Hook has a pretty nice touch. He has a baton instead of a hook. That's a nice visual gag. And below the actual set, Cyclops brings his child in, and the movie hammers in father messages. Shrek begins to realize what he actually has, and then it cuts back to the princesses trying to break into the castle. And here is probably the worst scene in this movie. It starts off normal, Snow White singing to a bunch of birds, but then shit hits the fan. Why? Why is this a thing? I didn't know Snow White had the power to make every animal violent. Every princess tries to use their abilities to their power to get into the castle. Sleeping Beauty's way of helping was falling asleep on the ground, and 2 idiot guards ran over the body. Sleeping Beauty is like the worst princess in this movie. She's so useless. Alright, I'm gonna talk about Charming's plan. His plan was to go to a bar, ask all the villains there to help him out with his plan, which means he would have been screwed without these people. He then has to break into Far, Far Away. He takes over the entire kingdom, and instead of immediately killing Shrek, he puts on an entire play about how he's going to kill Shrek. Who's to stop all these other villains from taking over? Why are they still listening to Charming? They got everything they wanted. And they don't like Charming, so once again, why are they still listening to him? Play begins and everything's going according to Charming's plan, until they reveal Shrek and the entire crowd turns on Charming. Also, Charming gets verbally destroyed throughout this entire movie. He's not a threat at all. Nothing about Charming says that he's going to win this. Everybody breaks in to try to help them. The princesses come in. They try to save Shrek, but unfortunately Prince Charming was ready and captures all of Shrek's friends. I don't understand Gingerbread as a character anymore. This whole movie ruined Gingerbread for me. Artie comes in just in time to give an emotional speech about everything. Prince Charming isn't satisfied with that speech and ends up getting killed by the set. The wizard made it to Far, Far Away because I guess he was bored in his home, and finally changes Donkey and Puss back, but he forgot their tails. And I guess someone pointed it out to them because they fixed it by next movie, so it's not a big deal. We cut back to Shrek's home, where he's living his happily ever after with his 3 children. Donkey and Puss break into his house again because that's a custom now. The movie held back on its pee, poop, and vomit jokes for the longest time, but for that last scene, they were just like, oh, we only have 2 minutes left. Let's ram as many as we can. End movie. This movie was not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It pleasantly surprised me that it wasn't shit. I've seen worse. It's not a very good movie. It's bad, but it's not that bad. It is still the worst Shrek movie in the franchise. I'm not surprised at all why I decided to sleep through this movie. The soundtrack is kinda lame. Every character is slightly worse. I learned a lot of disturbing things about the gingerbread people, and I hope that's the thing you take away from this movie most. This movie is not going to beat the B movie in King of the Hill. As for my rating of this movie, a 3. I'm being generous with a 3. That is going to be the end of this video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe, like for more content. If you actually want to help me find out what my next movie is going to be, you can go to @ShepBandicoot Clips on Instagram. Preferably not another kids movie. I might take that off the list for this next one. I need a break from watching DreamWorks movies. Shrek the Third. Gingerbread people have bones.